Bush Light. Bush?
Give me that.
Oh. Alright. Do your thing.
Welcome, everyone, to another half-ass beer review. My name is Josh, and tonight, there's a new beer calling our name.
Helloha Punch.
Thank you, Matt.
Helloha.
This is a sour ale with passion fruit, pineapple, guava, and orange. How do you feel about sour ales, Matt?
Looks like something that'd be on tap at a pride parade. I'm excited to delve my buds into
Your butts?
into the multitude of flavors offered by this can.
This is from Austin Brothers Brewing Company, Alpena. It's one of my favorite breweries in Michigan, actually. You like the smell of it?
No.
Give me a look.
Dude, give that a whiffle.
It's hard out of a can.
Dude, that smells like a dog's ass. I don't know if that's because of the can or if it's because that's nothing against this, the corporation or whatever.
Hi, I'm Luke from On the Table. You might have just heard a banging noise. That was the sound of my girlfriend hitting her head on a support beam in our studio. And us, as consummate professionals, what do? Do we stop and make sure she's okay? Do we, start the take over? No. We keep plugging away.
It's sour. Woo! Oh my God. It's sour. We got aneurysms happening on set. If you can start smelling colors, just let us know, and we're gonna do something about it. Jesus Christ. Until then, you're good. It's not bad.
Yeah?
Originally, it's like stronger. It's not as strong as a Warhead, like a candy from when I was a kid.
I don't think I've ever smelled beer out of a can before.
Smells like hourly wages and
Union dues.
that's not bad.
5.5% ABV. Part of
Okay.
their Sour Bay series, huh?
I've never had a sour before. I've never had any whiskey sours. I've never had a sour ale or anything. This is my first one.
Sours are actually really trendy right now.
Really?
Like in the beer brewing community. Sours and fruited sours and stuff like that. It's like the big...
Every episode I've ever been on the table, I've always had my Blue Moon cans to go. That's like my classic beer. I could probably get some of this in there, though. This is not bad.
Oh, man, that makes me excited.
That's tasty.
Yeah, opening it up. I remember when we used to drink beer. Well, I did most of the beer drinking.
Well, it's because
Like, you look scared of the beer.
I was.
Who made you scared of the beer in your life?
You. Because I would drink the beer and then you would shoot guns. Gave me a Rolling Rock as my first ever beer I ever drank was a Rolling Rock. It was in your trunk. It had gone through 4 seasons, not the hotel.
I aged it.
You were like, drink this. And you gave it to me. I drank it. I was like, that's a pig's ass. That's horrible.
Fair enough. Was that the worst thing that's ever happened to you at a party?
I've seen you in some banged up spots, Matt.
Right.
There was a party we were at where you drank an entire one of the mini kegs of Oberon.
Yeah.
You're tight.
And then,
Yeah.
and then you were running around and jumping into a lake that was fucking filthy.
You did that at Kurt's house, too, one time. Not with the Oberon, but you jumped in the river behind Kurt's house on
Yes.
that dirty-ass Dow River.
Dioxin River.
You were swimming around in it. We're all standing out there, and you were like, I'm having sex with a tonight.
No,
You're like doing the backstroke.
I remember getting out of the river, and everyone's like, "You need to shower, thoroughly clean yourself." I was like, "I'm not a pussy," and you're like, "No, you're not, but do it. Go in there right now."
I don't know how many years I lived in that house, but every spring that river would flood, and it would flood the basement. So we'd move out of the basement into the living room, and then when the flood would go away, we'd just move all of our stuff back down there. And I remember
It's like a fucking beaver or something.
the first probably 3 or 4 months that I didn't live there anymore, I was coughing up black stuff.
Good.
Matt, right? Our friend Matt
Yes.
was having a "this house is being sold" party.
Everywhere is the bathroom. Just shit and piss wherever you want. It's good. It's like a fucking wigwam. The bathroom is the kitchen.
None of it mattered to anybody that was at the party.
Right.
And we treated it as so.
Right.
I remember walking out the front door. One of my friends was out there, and I forgot who it was, but there was a woman out there. And I just remember he being bent down, just kicking at the porch, trying to break it off so they could. And I go, what are you guys doing? And they go, we're throwing this porch on the roof.
Just a wanton disrespect of personal belongings.
Well, it was, I think everything that Matt had at the time was in his room, and that was off limits. So everything else, you remember the crab walk where people would put their hands behind their back and they
Yes.
kind of, well, someone was on the roof crab walking, and they crab walked towards the satellite dish, just kicking it, and we had a fire, and it just ended up in the fire.
They were pissing down the chimney too, weren't they? They were pissing down the chimney and shit.
In our defense, the house was already trashed.
The owner of the home was effective alone in doing that. We just came along, we're like, we'll do that too. She had items, boxed of personal belongings, pictures, photo clothes, and it all went in the fire.
Were we ever too much?
The group?
Yeah, I realized probably whoever pointed that gun at you was probably way too over the top with it. But other than that.
No, but I can handle a lot.
Right. It's weird because today you see so much, like, I guess people are easily upset. And I was just wondering, because when I compare to what we did to today's standards, I was like, whoa, you know, I would never want to do that again. Like, I would never.
You'd go to jail.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that person would go to jail, Matt. I remember there was a treadmill in the living room.
Yes.
So we turned it on and we were watching people try to walk across, because you had to walk across it to get into the kitchen.
You had to walk across the treadmill to enter the party.
Then we got sick of it. We turned it off. And we go in the other room, and same friend goes, hey, man, come out here. You got to check what's going outside. And the porch was getting kicked off at some point. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something cool happening outside. So I step on the treadmill, which was turned on high. I remember seeing my feet, and then my head hit the handle. And I fell to the ground, and I put my hand on my head, and I look, and it's just blood from my fingertips down to my elbow. And I thought my brain was bleeding. I thought I was going to die. I remember looking up and being like, then I went to the ER, and the doctor had a student with him, and the doctor goes, he checks it out, and he goes to the student, hey, come here. You can see his skull.
We were at a fire at Kurt's house, and then Matt was there, and you wanted to fight him, and he was like kind of agreeing to. He's like, I'll fight Cooter. It didn't happen, and we were like, well, let's light a tennis ball on fire and throw it at each other.
And we did.
So you took the tennis ball on fire, and you whipped it at him, it hit him in the face, and his face lit on fire for a little bit. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? That was good shit. I said, holy shit, it actually worked.
So you drink this beer again?
It's not bad. Helloha Punch, Austin Brothers Beer Co. I would definitely rate this beer a 10 out of 10. I think that's pretty tasty.
They do a lot of sours, actually. And they're all really good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first sour I've ever had ever, and I am a big fan of my first one, for sure. Sorbet series.
Sour.
Not bad.
Sorbet.
Fuck you.